All right, so we now know who LSU is bringing to media days, and the first two guys, no surprise. Garrett Nussmeier on offense, Whit Weeks on defense. Duh. Anybody could have guessed those two players, but we were wondering who's the third player going to be. We didn't really know. There's a lot of different options, but we didn't know where they go offense, where they go defense, and they're bringing Chris Hilton, receiver, who obviously is going to be a big part of LSU's offense. When you look at his LSU career, he's playing behind, Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. and Kyron Lacey. Like, he's got some really good players in front of him, and he was going to be a big part last year. Anybody that went out to training camp practice was like, okay, this guy's flashing. It's now his time. He's going to be a big part of the offense. We all know he gets hurt. He comes back, and he was rusty. It is what it is. We talked about it. They were trying to get him the football because they know what kind of a weapon he can be. But, man, oh, man, did it start to hit there at the end of the year. You look at the Oklahoma game. You look at what he did against Baylor in the bowl game. It's like, oh, that is what Chris Hilton can be. That is the guy we saw all training camp long when he was fully healthy. So I'm kind of like, when I heard his name, I'm like, okay, well, that's a guy that waited his turn. He's had to hang around. He had two, like, generational receivers, and I don't use that lightly. I mean, look at what they did in the NFL last year ahead of him. When he was going to be the guy, he got hurt. He came back, went through some criticism, didn't allow it to affect him to the point where he just shut it down. He continued to play. And then at the end of the year, when he was healthy, he was thriving. And now he's going to be counted on as probably your big play weapon. Now, the receiver room is stacked. It's going to, 4 or 5 guys are going to have 10-plus catches this year, maybe even more. I'm just talking about just from the receiver room, not even counting tight ends and backs. But he is going to be your guy. When you need a big play, when you need a shot down the field, it's going to be number 3. So, excited for him. Glad he's getting this opportunity because, well, he's been here a long time. He's a senior. He's waited his turn, and now they're going to be counting on him.
Yeah, I look at it as like, Chris Hilton going into his 5th season here at LSU. So what it tells me that Brian Kelly decided to bring him is, when we look back at, we talk about this sometimes, like when we look back at our team and the teams, championship teams, there's always like a common denominator, and it's always that there's really good leadership on the team. And so, let's take a step back and look at the 2007 team. I always say that, like, every position group had a leader in that position group.
Yeah.
Like, when you break out in the meetings, quarterbacks, receivers, tight ends, like, everybody had a really good leader in almost every single room on the team. And then on offense, you come together, and the defense comes together, and there's clear leaders, like, as the group in general. And then there's clear leaders as an entire team. And there's just like this, there's this beautiful hierarchy of good leadership. So nobody player on that team is ever around or in a group, a small group, medium group, or large group around your teammates that there isn't a clear and definitive leader. What this tells me is in as talented of a receiver room as LSU has right now, that Chris Hilton is the guy that people point to, look to be that leader. And he might not be the leading receiver. I don't know. That we're kind of like have this luxury that we could go to, we don't know who the leading receiver on the team is going to be at the end of the year from like a yardage touchdown standpoint, because it could be anybody, any given game. Like it could be Hilton one game, he's, catches for 140 yards, and the next game is Anderson, catches for 140 yards. Like it could go game by game. I don't think there's going to be one guy that shines. But from a leadership standpoint, what the coaches believe and how they feel about this guy, how people look up to him, this is a pretty big honor to me that he's getting the invite to go to SEC Media Days, because that just shows you what the coaches and what his teammates think of him.
So when you look at what he did a year ago, I know, look, it is a very small sample size. He didn't come back until late October. But those last 2 games is exactly what he can give you. Maybe Brown can give it to you. Right, he's coming over from Kentucky. That's also kind of his skill set, but you don't know how it's going to translate in purple and gold. When you look at what Chris Hilton Jr. did against Oklahoma, 2 catches, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. All right, you look at what he did against Baylor, 4 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown. He averaged on the year. Now, look, he only had 9 catches. We know that. but he had 9 catches for 243 yards. 3 of those went for a touchdown, and he averaged 27 yards per catch. That's what he can give you. And so, like, on the field, expecting big things from him. But like Matt just said, in a room full of really talented players, an alpha room, he's the guy that they identified as the leader of that room, and they're bringing him to media day.
Yeah, and looking forward to talking to him, seeing him, looking forward to hearing what he has to say and what all the players have to say. We kind of talked about this at, college athletes are kind of taught and directed to not say much with their words. Speak for a little while, but don't say anything, basically. Don't give any billboard material, whatever it is. So we hope that we can get a little bit out of them, you know what I mean? A little personality show out.
I'll say this, they're much better than we were.
Well, we were terrible, the worst.
Yeah. They do commercials and they do appearances and they do other things. We were like the color commentator in the movie Major League, where Harry Doyle just kind of passes out and they're like, "You got it," and he flips over and there's like this incredible play and he fly ball, caught.
If I would have gone to SEC meet today, we have a really good team and we've been working really hard. We're excited for the season. We're just going to take it one game at a time. But, we got training camp next, so we got to take it one practice at a time. Mm-hmm. And then in practice, we got to take it one play at a time.
Yeah.
And I really think we're going to be good, and I'm just proud to be here. Go Tigers.
Yeah. We respect all of our opponents. We're not looking past any opponents. We don't care that we got the Florida Gators coming to town.
Most important game is the next one.
We don't care that we got Virginia Tech early in the season. We got Mississippi State. And when you go to Starkville, Mississippi, and those cowbells are ringing, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's an SEC game. It's an SEC, even though it is Mississippi State, and they're terrible. It's an SEC game.
You got to throw in.
Craig Selch had 7 interceptions.
You got to throw in. I mean, hey, Matt Flynn's just one man.
Just one man.
Oh, I've definitely done that interview before.
Yeah, we were like, I remember my wife used to be like, "Can you just like say something? Like, can your personality show a little bit?" It's kind of like that meme that floats around with a guy with like the cartoon character with a stick, like do something. Yeah. Like me, just like, hey, do something in an interview, please. Yeah.
I mean, you got better, right?
We're so much cooler now.
You got better in the NFL, right?
I did once I once I didn't like care.
The only thing bad about
didn't care how I played, but I cared
or bad about being good at interviews in the NFL after a loss, they're gonna come in the locker room and be like, "Well, he ain't Hey, you want to get on podium? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you good?
It's like, dude, they don't want to talk to me.
God, the game just ended 15 minutes ago.